Up with Jordan and Ron.
Welcome to Hooking Up with Jordan and Ron. I'm Jordan.
I'm Ron.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2025, folks.
Yeah, can you believe
it?
that? I can't
It's
believe
here. I don't know. It means I'm 45. I turned 45 in December.
Oh, my goodness.
Just happened a few weeks ago.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yay.
I love having my birthday at the holidays. It just makes it like fun and light, and I don't know. I love it.
Do people give you like one present and say this is for
Sometimes,
Christmas
but
and
not
your birthday?
always.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my parents, growing up, even now, try to differentiate and say, okay, well, how would you like to celebrate your birthday? And, would you like a cake? Which the answer is usually no. But for a while, I did ice cream cakes. I just love those.
I like ice cream cakes.
So good. So
Yeah,
good,
I
like
like
from
that.
Baskin Robbins. Oh,
Yeah. I have a friend of mine, you know who this friend is, gave me my Christmas present before the holidays. It was her Valentine's Day present for me back in February that she never got to me.
Oh, my
so
gosh.
I got this wonderful Valentine's Day present for Christmas.
Oh, my gosh. I love that.
Yeah. So I had little hearts all over my house.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
Oh, was it food related?
There was one food-related thing that I threw out, but it had a great can of Peanuts characters as like a popcorn
cute.
can. So I kept the tin.
Okay.
But I threw
Okay.
out the popcorn, which expired back in like March.
Oh, my gosh. Did popcorn expire?
It said so on the bottom of the
Yeah.
can. I don't know if it really does. I didn't try it.
Yeah.
But,
It probably just would be like stale.
Yeah, it that's probably what it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it would like spoil.
Okay.
It's in
Yeah.
a tin.
No, it's popcorn.
But but it wasn't wrapped in plastic, so I was like, yeah, this goes out.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fair. The holidays are, at least for my experience, big family time, big social time, and I love that to a certain point, but it's so easy to overdo it.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I did meet some new people through that, but it was really hard to grasp, like, do I want to meet new people? Is this a moment for energy in that direction?
Yeah.
It's hard. You're having fun, you're celebrating, you're wearing like glitter and sequins and having a good old time and, drinking more than you usually do, eating more.
Where did you meet the new people?
Actually at Uplift.
Oh, okay. All right. Because like at your birthday, I saw a lot of those photos and those looked like old people. I mean, like old friends,
around.
people
Around.
that I've
That's
known
right.
for a
That's
long
right.
time.
We had a really nice dinner. I was very appreciative, very kind of my family to throw me a little something.
Yeah.
So, 45 is a milestone.
I think so. I think it
every
is.
5 years now, I should really.
Yeah, I
have
think
something
50 is an
big.
even
50
bigger
is.
milestone.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
They need to surprise you with the 50th.
Oh, well, I kind of
Yeah.
was hoping to coordinate like a trip, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I do love surprises.
Yeah.
A surprise trip, you could put that idea in,
Yeah. So you met these new people and you met them at Uplift. We hope to get their owner on to talk about
Oh, that's
their
right. I need
place,
to
yeah.
talk with him again about that. So anyways, but it's like how much energy do you want to put into that when you want to meet new people? But I think I was questioning it because I was already overwhelmed by the amount of social activity.
Mm-hmm.
There was a combination of my birthday and family time and more time with my sister and her kids, which I love them so much, but it's, togetherness is not aloneness.
No, that's absolutely true, right? Yeah, I only had one day with the family, and that was enough.
Was it? Okay. Yeah, and it just depends, I guess, on the dynamics, but I got overwhelmed.
Yeah, so was this. It was like so many people there, and and all the kids are now grown up, and they all have kids, and it's like,
wow,
there's just so many people. Yeah.
In that environment, I almost feel like I'd be overwhelmed with how many people I didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it was big. Every year, it's a reflection time. Maybe also because of my birthday being around that time, and it being the new year, of course.
So how'd you cope with that?
Tried to really make time for myself.
Oh, good.
And process and think about what was going on rather than be like, oh dear, I need to drink more to feel better about it, or do you know what I mean? I didn't want to kind of lean into any kind of unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Yeah. Well, especially during the holidays, right?
More. Sure. Yeah.
Partying leads to more partying.
It does for me, for sure. And so it's something I think about and make choices about actively. I did go to therapy, to talk through it more and get some guidance about what I was thinking and feeling. Nothing disastrous, but enough that it's a moment of reflection. That how am I going to pull myself out of this? What do I need to do to take some steps? What are some healthy steps to take? And also, how do I want to spend my time? And, through navigating those thoughts, I found this really cool book I started listening to on Spotify called Happier Hour, which is a gal named Cassie Holmes. She teaches at UCLA now, but has worked previously in their MBA program as a professor, and found that many people really do have enough time for themselves, but it's how you structure it.
Correct.
And how do you spend it, and are you purposeful about it? And it can seem overwhelming at first to define it in a different way and think about how you spend your day. But I also realized Instagram was a giant time suck for me.
Oh, any social media, you just find yourself flipping.
Oh my gosh. And sometimes dating apps, I can get a little too into that.
Yeah. Well, you go down the wormhole.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I tried to put settings on my phone. It'll stop you, and then there's a button that says, okay, just 15 minutes more. And the other one says, I don't care, leave me alone,
Oh, that's funny.
And I go back and forth between, toggling which one I'm going to pick and how many more 15 minutes do I get.
Yeah.
And it doesn't consider dating apps social. It considers LinkedIn, which actually, if you're looking for a job, can be pretty unhelpful to limit.
Right.
But Instagram and all. And I quit Facebook years ago. I've never done Snapchat. I've never done, what's the other, X, Twitter, whatever.
Yeah.
And TikTok. And I don't really do that. So it's really just Instagram, but oh my God.
And there's some new one that the younger folks are using now too, right? Blue something?
Oh, maybe. I've never even heard of that.
I don't know. It Blue something. Okay. I don't know. Blue Angel, Blue something. I don't know. Blue Skies. I don't know. I don't use I only use Facebook actually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, going through those patterns and trying to recognize other ways to step back and change how I was focusing on that, because I also was like, I'm not reading. I'm not exercising as much as I want. I'm not what am I not doing, and what am I doing instead?
Yeah.
And I mean, Instagram was several hours a day.
Yeah. Oh, easy.
And it changes your sleep patterns, or it can.
Right. And you do it during work, and while you're talking, you're flipping.
Oh my gosh, distraction. And so since then, I signed off Instagram. I want to say on the 30th, December 30th, maybe.
Okay, right before the new year.
Back.
Wow.
And so it's been over a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Good for you.
And it's hard, but in a couple of days here, I probably spent too much time on Tinder, but
but
I don't know.
When you're actively dating and looking for dating, I think that's probably an exception you're going to want to make.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know, but I wanted to share that because it's funny the way that we want to come forward and guide others on social outlets and meeting others. I have this moment that really was, stunting me in that way, where I usually am excited. And it's cold. It's, darker earlier. There's not as much social outlet as normal, but also I just needed to focus on myself.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Thanks.
That's an awesome thing to do.
Yeah.
I think the days feel so short right now. Because it doesn't. There's no light till after 8, and it's already dark at 4:30, and it's just like, it's just the middle of the winter here in Michigan. It
is.
No wonder so many people have seasonal affective disorders.
Sure. I did think about getting one of those lights, and actually, some of the lights that you can use for plants indoors in the winter months are similar. So maybe I'll just sit under that.
Yeah,
I'm not joking. I probably will do it.
Shout out to my friend Patty Mazzola, who actually gave me one of those lights
so cool.
as a birthday present last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you just sit in your regular chair?
I put that in my den.
Okay.
Yeah, I put it in my den. And it's like I do reading in there lots of times. Lots of times I do typing and work in there. Okay. So I put it in there,
Good for you.
Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. But it seems to actually help. Yeah. I mean, it feels like there's sun coming in the windows on a day where there's no sun.
Is it warm?
Outside. Not really.
Okay.
No. It's just the light. It's just the quality of the light.
Sure. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
blue light. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Try it out. Yeah. You can go on Amazon. You can find them for really cheap.
Okay.
You can get desk lamps like that, or you can get screw-in bulbs and to put in your ceiling and stuff.
Oh, the actual bulb itself in your lamps. Yeah. Okay. Something to think about.
Yeah. It gives this bright white light. Yeah. It looks like sunshine. Confuses the dog.
Aw, Oh, Bruno.
Yeah, he has to go in the other room. He has to go in the closet. He likes
He's like,
dark.
Daddy, I miss the dark.
Yeah, he likes the dark. He likes. He hates this weather. It's just awful. Do you ever, did you get caught up in texting at all?
A little bit.
Yeah.
With a couple, folks you match with on the apps and so forth, and it, for better or worse. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But because usually that's the pattern. You chat on the apps and say, "Oh, sure, let's move off the app." Especially if you've made plans to.
Right. I think that's a great way to kind of get to know someone and then plan a date. Yep. Right. So I had a dinner with a bunch of other psychologist friends. Just a reminder that I'm a psychologist myself, and we ended up talking about apps and texting, and we ended up talking about this podcast actually, because only one person had listened to it, and we started talking about it, and then we started talking about texting and red flags and green flags, and what to look out for, and as we were talking, they came up with some surprising ones to me, so I thought I'd kind of run them by you and see what you think.
And are these are the red flags?
These are red flags. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. So one of the red flags that we talked about is when you text someone and you're interested in them, and they haven't texted.
So romantic driven.
Right. This is like when you're more interested in dating someone, than just talking to your friends.
Sure.
Or hooking up, and then you're not going to get a follow up on it in most cases, But so you text, they don't text back for a while, and then they say, "I'm sorry, I've been so busy." So and the reasoning behind that one is, we all think, oh yeah, sure, I'm sure they got busy doing something else. Yeah, but they got busy doing something else with other people and other things, not you.
And not thinking about you.
They weren't thinking about you at all until you started bugging them and texting them again.
So do people probably ignore that and say, oh sure, and just ignore it and say,
they might.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, or they might give you a one-word response because they're not really interested in talking much further. That's another red flag, by the way. One-word responses.
One-word responses.
You text questions. You text something interesting you did, and they go, yeah. Or you ask them, how's your New Year going so far? And they go, okay. And that's it. And then no follow-up to that. That just means they're not interested in talking to you further.
I've done that to people.
Oh, I think I probably have too.
Yeah, especially the one word, or when you don't. I don't know if you don't answer at all. I think I'd avoid. The avoidance.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think it's the quality of which you do it. I think if you say okay, and then the other person says something, you go LOL, or whatever. Then you got a conversation going. But if it's just kind of an okay and then nothing,
right?
Yeah, I would consider that a red flag. Here's another one.
Okay.
You ask them if you want to get together, and they say, "Let me check my schedule."
But that's it.
Yeah. Then they don't get back to you, or they take days to get back to you. Everybody knows their schedule to some degree, right?
Well, and if you're interested, you'll plan something.
Right. You get this delayed response from them, which is kind of them thinking about, that didn't work. Well, how can I get them off my back,
And no one wants to be too eager.
Right.
But that does feel dismissive.
Right. Because it doesn't matter how busy you are. You prioritize who you want to spend your time with. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Wow.
Here's another one. You text them something like, haven't heard from you for a while. And they say, yeah, I'm just not good at texting.
Interesting.
Yeah. They're great at texting. Who is not good at texting? Everyone's good at texting.
I don't know. Maybe it depends on.
Right. They're not interested in texting with you.
Age range, but still.
Yeah. Well, no, that's true. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But you're talking about
Yeah, my mother would never know how to text back, but you're talking about every day. Us. You're talking about us. Yeah. It's like everyone's great at texting. Yeah. They're just not interested in texting with you.
Wow. So it's very indirect.
Yeah.
It's passive.
It's passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive.
It's very passive aggressive. In fact, any time you're talking to someone and it sounds like you're getting these passive aggressive responses, that's a red flag. Jokes that aren't really funny, they're more biting than funny.
Wait, what? Like mean, kind of mean?
Yeah, like meanish. It's probably not mean toward you, but mean in general. And you could read into that.
Like they're not in a good space, maybe.
Yeah, they're probably not. Yeah, but also they're not interested in discussing it with you.
Ooh.
You can always ask them, okay, everything good? In a good space? And, if you get snide responses back or, it's just, I'd stay away from that. And then, one-sided conversations. So they ask you, how was your weekend? Probably out of obligation. You're like, oh, great. I did this. I went to a movie and I did this. And then I read this book and I did whatever. And they respond with okay.
Right. Or you say, how about you? Right?
Yeah.
And then nothing.
And they get nothing back. Oh, I had dinner with my family.
Yeah.
That's it. Like nothing else. No. Oh, tell me about dinner. Was it fun? How's your family? Nothing.
Man.
I'm like, I spent a long time with my family. I had to drive my mom to Christmas Eve party, and I met everybody. I met all their kids, and I met whatever. It was really overstimulating. But it was fun, and then I came home that night, whatever. And they're like, okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so look out for that. So I think be on the lookout for some of these red flags when you're texting, especially when you're interested in dating that person.
Right. Like, it makes you wonder, like, if things were chatty enough on the app, and then you moved to text. Did you do it too quickly?
Right.
Maybe you didn't see these red flags even on the app. Because the chatting on the app is very text-driven. Right. I mean, there's some other dynamics to it, I guess, but...
I have some very close friends I text with all the time. I'm not interested in them in dating. And there I don't care if they don't respond for a day or two or whatever, because then we just pick up and just keep texting.
Right. I
have someone that I used to date that we text all the time, all the time. But he lives 600 miles away. So there's absolutely no relationship there beyond just friends,
Okay.
But we text all the time, and it's pretty even, in the way we text back and forth.
Okay.
And, that's fun, but I know there's also no consequences long term for that.
Oh, sure.
And then I found myself, after I talked to my psychologist friends, looking back at a text I had with someone here locally. Well, relatively locally. This is a friend who lives in Irish Hills, which is about, half hour or so away from Ann Arbor, but within the circle, within the dating circle, right? Kind of interested, and I'm looking at these things where, he might ask a question, then I'd go on for a paragraph of like stuff that I'm doing or reading or whatever. And then, I look at it and he says like, oh, yeah, okay, well, I read too.
Yeah.
And then nothing else. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like who's your favorite author? I like so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And then you get like a 3-word response. Oh. I like a lot of different writers.
Yeah.
And like, what?
Yeah. You don't want to have to pull teeth to continue a conversation.
Yeah. I do that at work. I have to pull teeth out of, a lot of my clients to talk, and like, I don't want to do that with people I'm just casually chatting with and maybe interested in, But I found myself falling into those patterns too. And I'm like, yeah, this is a red flag, And, as a consequence, that was like before the holidays. As a consequence, or like right after the holidays last week, I haven't texted this person back. And they haven't texted me. And I'm like, of course not, because I was pushing that. I was the one trying to keep the conversation going there, And then you suddenly pull back from it. You go, this is a red flag. And then you're like, yeah, it was a red flag. Done. That's done, But but there's also green flags, I think if you find that someone else has got a similar sense of humor as you do when you're chatting.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that they get your jokes. Because text is not always easy to interpret.
No, it's not.
You think it's more straightforward or more clear than it might be.
Yeah.
And if they're in a bad headspace or tired or, who knows how something could be misconstrued.
Right. Right. But if they laugh and they, you get the LOL and then they tell you something back similar that's just as funny.
Right. That's on the target. Yeah.
Now you're on a wavelength. And I think that's a green flag.
I agree.
Keep talking to that
There's
person.
someone I just started talking with, and it's so funny. He asks a lot of questions, which I so appreciate. So it really feels engaging. Yeah. I don't always feel like I can answer timely there's been no expectation set to answer right away. But you know what I mean? You're chatting and you want to talk more about it.
When your conversational styles are similar,
like
you text about the same amount the other person texts.
Yes.
You feel like you're sort of texting around the same time each day that feels comfortable for both
of
you.
That. Yeah.
That perpetuates it.
Exactly. I do like the perpetuation part. I don't like having it too soon get into a pattern of good night, good morning. That feels like...
That's more intimate already.
That reminds me of a guy I went on a couple dates with recently who wanted to put his arm around me right away and hold hands.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is our second date, and I get what you're saying, and maybe I will be ready for that sooner than later.
But I'm not interested right now.
It's actually like my lowest love language, and I'll get there. There'll be some affection, but he's like, it just wasn't the fit.
Oh,
it wasn't
100%. 100%. Of course, another big giant red flag is, you chat for a little bit and they're immediately into, what are you into? Sexually, what are you,
conversationally.
Yeah, like it switches like way too quick to that. That's out.
Nope.
I have a shout out on a book. My friend, Dr. Ali Fenwick. Some of you may follow him on social media.
Okay.
Wrote a book called...
How do you spell that? A-L-I?
A-L-I, Fenwick. F-E-N-W-I-C-K.
Cool.
It includes the doctor, Dr. Ali Fenwick.
Dr. Fenwick.
Yeah. He's a modern psychologist. He's, kind of a no-nonsense, tell it like it is kind of guy.
I like it.
He makes these pretty funny social media videos if you watch them, but they're dead on, Wrote a book called Red Flags, Green Flags. And it is terrific.
I like that.
Yeah, it's great if you're dating, but it's also great if you're trying to set boundaries with family members or you're trying to figure out relationships with friends.
Oh, I do want to read that.
And you can pick it up anywhere and just kind of flip through it and read through it. And I highly recommend it. It just came out, just published a week ago or so.
Nice.
So it's definitely worth picking up. We might see if we can get him on, but he would have to come on. We'd have to figure out how to do like a call in. Yeah, we'd have to call in. So that's kind of, we're off in a new year.
We are.
Believe it or not, we've already hit 20 minutes,
We have a new guest coming that is, friend of a friend, but basically, through association of the podcast that he is a huge fan. He is so excited. So we'll be following up in the next couple weeks about that and some others in the new year. But as always, share your ideas. Please do like and review and
subscribe and
rate.
Listen to us anywhere and drop us emails. It's HookingUpWithJordanAndRon at gmail.com. Easy to remember that, you know?
Yeah.
And we have heard from some people, which has been fun. So let us know what you're thinking, which episodes you like, who you'd like to hear. Let us know if you want to be on. Let us know what makes you a good friend, and we will talk to you next week.
Thanks for joining.
See you soon and Happy New Year.